What's going on, baseball fans? So we have the trade deadline fast approaching. So in this video, I'm going to go over the teams that I think should be buyers this trade deadline. So let's not waste any time. Let's get to it. At number 6, I have the LA Angels. Starting off my list are the LA Angels, and you might be thinking, what? Let me explain. Right now, the Angels are one of the worst teams in baseball with a record of 11-22 at the time of making this video. They have an offense that ranks 14th in the majors and a bullpen that ranks 13th, which isn't bad for either, but they have a rotation that ranks 21st, and that just won't translate to wins. However, I don't think the Angels should necessarily sell. I actually think that they should buy because there's a lot of talent on this team with Mike Trout, obviously, their newest addition of Anthony Rendon, their top prospect of Joe Adell, as well as Dylan Bundy in the rotation, who's having a great season. I think the Angels are close, but they need some pitching. If they could acquire a top of the rotation kind of guy, similar to the Mets getting Marcus Stroman last year at the deadline, then I think this would be a good step in the right direction for the Angels to compete next year. Maybe someone like Mike Clevinger or Zach Plesac on the Indians, or Lance Lynn from a Rangers team that could be heading to a rebuild, or maybe even Trevor Bauer if they could get him to agree to an extension. If they could get someone now and then make another move this offseason for the rotation, this Angels team could be a real threat next season. At number 5, I have the Cleveland Indians. Next up are the Cleveland Indians, who have some phenomenal pitching this year thanks to Shane Bieber, who's on track to win the Cy Young in the American League this year. And even though Mike Clevinger and Zach Plesac have had their issues off the field, they've been very good as well. Aaron Savali and Tristan McKenzie have also been very good, and even Carlos Carrasco has been okay as well. Their starting pitching currently ranks 1st in ERA, 2nd in FIP, 2nd in strikeouts per 9, and 2nd in walks per 9. Even the bullpen has been really good, as they rank 3rd in ERA and 2nd in FIP. Even their fielding has been top-notch, as they rank 6th in defensive runs saved and 4th in UZR. So what seems to be the problem? Well, it's the offense. While they do get on base a good amount, as they rank 11th in on-base percentage, they rank 22nd in runs scored and 25th in WRC+. While guys like Jose Ramirez, Carlos Santana, Franmil Reyes have had good seasons offensively, along with Lindor heating up lately after a slow start, they really could use another bat, especially in the outfield. As of right now, their 4 main outfielders, Delano DeShields, Domingo Santana, Jordan Luplow, and Tyler Naquin, are hitting a combined .216 on the year, so an outfield bat could be nice. Maybe they could swing a deal for JD Martinez, who can play some outfield along with being his normal DH. Maybe Jacoby Jones from a rebuilding Tigers team who's having a decent season could be an option. Hey, why not maybe go big and try to swing or trade for MVP candidate Mike Yastrzemski, who's turning 30 soon on a Giants team destined for a rebuild? Whatever it is, if the Indians can add an impact bat, that could make them the favorite in the American League this year. At number 4, I have the Chicago Cubs. The Cubs have been a pleasant surprise this year after falling off a cliff in the second half of 2019 and not doing much this past offseason. However, thanks to some decent starting pitching that ranks 12th overall, an offense that ranks 7th overall, and fielding that ranks 5th overall, they find themselves out in front in the NL Central and tied for the 3rd best record in the National League. However, where their problems lie are in the bullpen. With Craig Kimbrell not being able to figure things out since signing with the Cubs last year, Jeremy Jeffress has stepped up in a big way. They have had some other guys step up like Colin Rea, Dan Winkler, and Ryan Tepera, but other guys like Rowan Wick have struggled as of late. It just feels like the Cubs could really use a shutdown reliever for the bullpen to be able to make any kind of a playoff run. Luckily, there are some options out there like Trevor Rosenthal on the Royals, Keone Kela on the Pirates if he's healthy, or even Tony Watson on the Giants. Whoever it is, the Cubs really need to add a piece to that bullpen. At number 3, I have the Minnesota Twins. At the moment, the Twins are currently tied for the 3rd best record in the American League, and for good reason. They rank 6th in offense, and the bullpen ranks 7th overall. However, one spot I think they could address is the rotation, which isn't bad by any means. They rank 4th overall in ERA with a 3.45 and 6th overall in FIP. However, one area that concerns me with the pitching is the strikeouts, where they only rank 23rd. If they could add a starting pitcher capable of striking guys out, I think that would go a long way, especially considering also that this team seems to struggle mightily with starting pitching come postseason time. There's some potential options out there, with one guy being Trevor Bauer. He's a free agent after this season, so a struggling Reds team could look to get something out of him. He's also having a really good season as well, posting a 3-1 record so far with an ERA of 1.65 and over 13 strikeouts per 9. He would be a perfect fit, in my opinion. Other options out there could be Lance Lynn, who's having another very good season on a Rangers team that's out of it. How about Dylan Bundy, who's finally living up to expectations with a solid season so far? Maybe the Angels want to try and trade him and get something out of him. Whoever it is, I think adding a starter could be what gets the Twins over the hump for a deep playoff run. At number 2, I have the Atlanta Braves. I won't beat around the bush here. The Braves needed to trade for a starting pitcher 3 weeks ago when Mike Soroka went down with a season-ending injury. They also sent struggling pitchers Sean Newcomb and Mike Foltynewicz to their alternate camp, and Cole Hamels hasn't even thrown one pitch this year. While Max Fried has stepped up in a big way, the Braves desperately need more starting pitching, as they currently rank 24th on the year and are 26th in FIP in their last 10 games. There are many options out there with big names like Lance Lynn, Dylan Bundy, and maybe even Mike Clevinger, as well as some smaller names but are still very good like Kevin Gausman, Rick Porcello, Alex Cobb, or maybe even Marco Gonzalez. And at number 1, I have the New York Yankees. At the time of making this video, the Yankees are on a 7-game losing streak, but are still in second place in the AL East with a record of 16-13. In the last 10 games, though, the Yankees are 3-7, but it's not because of the starting pitching, offense, or fielding. It's because of that bullpen. Over these last 10 games, the bullpen has an ERA of 10.80 and is almost giving up 5 home runs per 9. That's just awful. Everyone in that bullpen is struggling at the moment. I think one big reason for that is not having Tommy Conley, who was huge in middle relief for the Yankees last season, but he's now out for the season due to Tommy John. If the Yankees can get an arm to stabilize the middle of the bullpen, I think that would go a long way. There are some decent options out there like Michael Givens on the Orioles, Tony Watson on the Giants, Greg Holland on the Royals, or David Phelps on the Brewers. Maybe they could somehow swing a trade for Matt Barnes on the Red Sox. Maybe they could go big and go for a guy like Keone Kela on the Pirates, Trevor Rosenthal on the Royals, or hell, maybe even Josh Hader on the Brewers. Either way, there are options out there. The Yankees are also dealing with a lot of injuries in the lineup at the moment, and they're having guys like Clint Frazier, Mike Tauchman, and Tyler Wade step up. So I don't think they need to worry about the lineup so much. If anything, maybe they could get a guy that could play multiple positions, like a Howie Kendrick from a struggling Nationals team, or a David Fletcher from an Angels team that's out of it. Hey, there's even Brock Holt out there as a free agent, and if he signs with the Yankees, that would make me cry myself to sleep. As for the starting pitching, the Yankees do currently rank 17th on the year and could really use another arm to go along with Garrett Cole. Maybe swallow your pride and bring back Lance Lynn. How about Kevin Gausman, who's been pitching pretty decent this year in San Francisco? Johnny Cueto in San Francisco also has playoff experience. Maybe they could somehow swing a blockbuster deal for a guy like Mike Clevinger, who isn't in good graces with the Indians right now. Whatever it is, that rotation needs some help, and the Yankees need to fix a couple of things all across their team. So those are some teams that I think need to be buyers at the trade deadline this year. Tell me your thoughts down below. Tell me some teams that you think should be buyers at the trade deadline this year. But that's all I got for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.